All right. Good morning. Gonna go ahead and get right started right here. All right. Hop on Discord here. What's up, everybody? All right, so we're gonna start here with the news. Kind of go over a couple of different things here that definitely need to take note of. Definitely seeing a lot of news on the banks and a lot of over leveraged friends that we've heard about. I wasn't talking to you, Siri. So noticing, I just saw Tattooed Chef is up pre-market. Let's move it down. Alrighty here, so let's go ahead and start off. Give everybody a minute to hop on here. All right. So we have, starting off with the news today. Let's go check Discord, make sure everybody is on. What's up, everybody? You guys hear me okay? I'll take a look at ADA. Interesting. Yeah, we'll take a look at that here in a second. So, top news this morning is U.S. Republicans expected to unveil a $1 trillion infrastructure plan. The U.S. Senate Republicans, hoping to strike a deal with the President Joe Biden on infrastructure, are expected to unveil a new offer on Thursday that would spend about $1 trillion to revitalize America's roads, bridges, and broadband systems. So infrastructure. Oh wow! Boeing has agreed to pay $17 million in civil penalties for production lapses related to 737. I bet. I bet they wish they never made that plane. That's funny. Alrighty here. We have a little small account challenge right here on our trade station. Okay, so new hedge funds bask in Exxon climate spotlight. The successful board challenge against ExxonMobil cast a spotlight on two recently launched sustainability-focused investment firms that took the opposite sides in the high-stakes battle. Let's see. U.S. has announced new security directives for pipelines after attack. So the U.S. The Department of Homeland Security issued a new security directive for pipeline owners and operators after the hack of the Colonial Pipeline disrupted the fuel supplies in the southeastern United States for days this month. buying one. So workers at Ford's Southern India plant seek halt amid COVID-19 surge. Dozens of workers stage a lunchtime sit-in protest at Ford Motor Plant in India's Tamil Nadu state, demanding paid leave and health benefits. Three sources familiar with the matter says Ford has seen a remarkable run up here in the last couple of days. So hopefully that is not stifled. I did have an alert go off on that this morning. Definitely in need of a little bit of a pullback as it's made quite a bit of a run, kind of leaving its moving averages in the dust. But that could be something that could affect things going into the future for Ford. I've seen protests with like Alacola and stuff like that end up affecting the share price for quite some time, but we'll see if this is a substantial claim or if it's something that can be dealt with easily. All right, so we actually, futures fell ahead of the weekly unemployment claims data. Fears that signs of a improving economy would lead the Federal Reserve to start tapering its accommodative monetary policy. Most European shares edged a little bit higher. Japanese shares fell as investors booked profits after a recent rally, and Chinese equities ended in the green. The dollar index inched down while gold price slipped. Oil prices dropped in concern over potential increase in Iranian supplies. So, something to keep in mind. Stocks to watch. AEO, the retail apparel retail said its sales of jeans and tops was accelerating after the company reported a first quarter results beat on increased spending driven by stimulus checks. Stimulus-led spending confidence among customers allowed the appeal retailer to cut promotions and sell at full prices. NVDA. So we're going to go take a look at that in pre-market. Of course, that is a focus amongst a lot of different investors. This one, not seeing any you're seeing a little bit of pullback here. But I've seen earnings, crush stuff. So we'll see if buyers hold it up. I think the analyst price targets could elevate this one and allow it. So you have high price targets, and then you have the 4-to-1 split. So if you have that, could potentially spur a run. So anything here may just be a medium-sized shakeout. I wouldn't put too much stress on it. I would just go ahead and set, multiple different lines of support. Obviously, these lows right here, I think that is 620. That's obviously a psychological number. You have a small gap down here that I feel is unlikely to fill, but we'll see what that looks like. You see a little bit of resistance at 617, and then right there off that wick 614.85. Oh man. If you guys didn't hear, or if you guys didn't see in my page, on Discord, the price targets right now for the Deutsche Bank, $600, which obviously is low. Bank of America Securities, $750. JP Morgan, $705. Key Bank, $775. Mizuho Securities, $710. Citibank, $720, $740 for Jefferies, $750 Evercore ISI, UBS $737. So really nice price target, big numbers there. I wouldn't mind seeing it move in that direction. So definitely setting some alerts at pre-market highs, of course, at that wick, but pre-market highs yesterday, right about there. That's going to be 630. Alrighty. Alibaba, the e-commerce company, obviously based out of China, aims to increase its Brazil sales by offering live commerce, financial services, and registering local sellers in its marketplace. Its Brazilian head told Reuters that with Brazil sales growth around 130% in 2020, the shopping portal wants to use these initiatives to deepen its links with customers in Brazil, which has become one of the first AliExpress markets sales in the world. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, UBS set a 735 price target. Interesting. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at some stocks here. Okay, so let's go over here. Apple. Okay, so Apple did in fact gap down. And this is kind of what we were talking about being underneath that resistance. You can see here, as we bounced here, we've retested after the first initial pullback, and we've gapped down below that pullback level. So I would imagine that we would see Apple short today if it does not hold this support at open. More than likely you'll get a retest somewhere around the 126.50 level, and then potentially you could see a wick right back down. And I do see there's a gap starting on Apple at, let's see here, 125. It looks like 126, and then closing at 125.44. So that could be a potential target if we make our way down there. We haven't seen big moves like that, so it's going to be something where we just have to play it, reacting to the market, obviously. So yeah, why don't we move that? So see. Yeah, it looks like oil might be a short as well. They were making a cup here on the 5. Looks like there's with the whole meeting, activists for environmental groups, but then again, we see a lot of that kind of stuff, so. 1 second, Discord. Lemonade. Oh, nice. Great job, Zach. I hope that paid well for you. Yeah, Lemonade has very minimal amount of room to run. 80, I would say I would put my mark at 88 for that. I'm gonna set an alert on that trend line. You have 1, 2 bounces off support. Earnings happened here I'm not quite sure the result of that. But I do think that we could see, I would put my money on a rejection here, depending on how the Qs move. But right now, looking at the crypto markets, looking at SPY, looking at the Qs, I don't know. Maybe I'm not quite convinced that the market is, like, I feel like we're just one very small event from a catalyst wise from having, you know, a minor rug pull. But let me look at SPY here now that I'm talking about, well, here, first of all, before I run away from lemonade. So I'm going to set an alert as well. So, I mean, somebody could play this, but you gotta know, this would be a perfect example of setting a plan, knowing where you're going to enter. I mean, this thing could absolutely retest this 9-day moving average, and it's a bit early to tell. I'm gonna run. But you could end up seeing let me see if this works out that way. Yeah, so it looks like that's a well-respected resistance there as well. So you could end up seeing, and I could be wrong on this right here, we could end up seeing something like a rising wedge or something like that running up to resistance. So if you look at where the reason why I'm saying that is if you look at where the moving averages are, those are like liquid supports. So for me, when I see a stock, you know, sharply bounce like that, but it makes this wide descending base, that's usually the beginning of an ascending wedge, and from the ascending wedge, usually you get a reversal. So that's what I would be paying attention to. If you see it chopping up and down, then that would be confirmation for you. So, and at that point, I would be looking for a hourly reversal candle as confirmation. I would likely take that short, especially as a swing potentially as well. Unless you ended up having some type of consolidation here and broke out to the upside that way. But it depends on how we end the day. Awesome job. I'm glad you guys were able to get out of those Tesla calls. We ended the day, obviously, we should probably go over Tesla. Let's see, it's 8:50. I am, yes. Did you like that SOS pop? SOS gapped up all the way to $3.83, breaking out of this wedge. So we could see some nice movement if anybody is still in SOS. One second. I'll go over Tesla really quick. Awesome. You guys are in BA? Perfect, man. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Make sure to secure profits where you see them. Yes, set a stop loss on that SOS or a trailing stop loss on there, so that way. But remember that the higher time frame setup is looking reversal like, but it's always good to take profit off the table. Looking at the 5-minute here, you know, maybe below, I would set a couple different stop losses. Obviously, we have a nice gap up, so you're up, but those two right there, if you break pre-market lows, then you know you got a gap to fill. So at that point, I probably. So all right, let's go back to Tesla. Sorry about that. Okay, so looking at Tesla, we're going to start on the hourly time frame. We see a relatively nice start to a rounded bottom. This is there's a small gap down, so this could be the extent of the rounded bottom, and there is the potential to see a cup and handle. Where that cup and handle would form, I would imagine, and the one thing to take note of is that we are not quite, we have not quite broken. There we go. Fully broken that resistance line, right? And you could take it off of that, and that is pre-market, a pre-market high there, but is a rejection immediately at open. Let's go see the daily as well, verify that trend line. Okay, so just another testament right there. So right now we are up against that downtrend there, and we could potentially see a rejection today. So today we would really need to see a push past 625. Once we get to 625, then and settle there, especially with an hourly candle, high volume, then we could potentially see the next leg back up. Otherwise, we could see a rejection here today and even go and revisit wherever this 9-day moving average is creeping at. The daily RSI looks pretty good. I'm not going to argue that. I think that looks relatively cooled off, and the MACD looks like it wants to roll over to the upside. But if you look at the volume, it's just not there. I mean, it's good volume, but this is the volume that Tesla needs to get a big good bounce. This is support volume, right? So boom, boom, you know, you get decent spikes in volume, whereas here you're getting relatively low spikes in volume. So looking at the bigger picture, we still need to see an increase and a push off of the support, because technically you haven't broken downtrend, and everybody we're buying the bounce, but inevitably we still need to play you know, the chart and watch the chart, make sure that we're paying attention to that. So my projection would likely be another trip back down to the 580 level if we reject today. So 580 to the downside as a target, and then I would say 650 if we can climb over 625 and hold it with an hourly candle. If not, then we may have Michael Burry feeling good. So all right, so let's go ahead and set a couple different alerts on Tesla. So with volume, we could see a push and a break, right? We're not far away from that break. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that down. So all we need to do is push and hold. Don't get faked out. Let the candle close. Even if it's an hourly candle, we know where Tesla can move. Tesla has a decent gap or a decent range, and the support that I have on it right now is 650 as the next resistance, excuse me, not support, resistance, and that's where we could potentially see a pullback and a cup and handle, because it's making a perfect rounded bottom. But that's the upside. I always come into the day non-biased. I'm looking for a hourly close above that 525, good volume. And if we get that, then we can see push the upside below, right? So here's what you can do as far as a trend line there. You can draw a support, right? And you'll notice that when I pull that up, right, it's that 50-day EMA is right there. So below this mark, and I would probably say 608, right? I'm going to set one at 607, 610. And a lot of high frequency traders are within this area. So you're going to see, especially when you go down to the 1 minute, you know, it's no straight lines on this, and we know where our resistance is and where our support is. So this is what this looks like right now. The 200-day moving average, if you're watching that on the 5 minute, you know, you would want to see a break below 610. 610 would likely take you down. Let's see, pull back there. I would say 600 if we do reject on that daily time frame. So let me set a couple different resistances. Excuse me. So you guys can copy those if you wish. So I'm going to set an alert on that 200-day EMA there. So I get an alert when it gets touched by the price action. So if I'm not able to pay attention to it. And then to the upside, of course, I've got the horizontal ray. Remember, let the candle close. Got to do that. There's a very small bit of, looks like a 628.25 is a very small resistance too. I'm going to set an alert there. Oh shit. 640, psychological. These are for weeklies. Anybody in weeklies, you want to be taking profit before those. You don't hold through resistance. You want to go ahead, especially it's Thursday. It is Thursday, right? Okay. I was about to say, am I crazy? But we could see, you know, those rejections, and that'll tear your contract up. That's why they call it theta Thursdays. So if you're buying 25 plus contracts, you know, at least trim. If you're in 10 contracts, trim, because you're going to get eaten up around those levels. So for you beginners, you know, a lot of people use pivot point strategy. It's PPS or on TradingView, and that almost gives you like auto resistances and supports. So, all right, let's go ahead and look at BA. BA. Let's take some profit off the table, please. This goes right into our long call. Man, what a beautiful gap up. I mean, you really can't ask for a better move. So anybody in BA, please take profits, all right? I don't want, it's gonna suck. It could continue to run, but any big gap up like that, you will have a pullback. So as soon as the bell opens, if you see a wick up, take some profit off the table. Honestly, I would take most or the majority of the profit off the table, and then I would go ahead and climb out. And then at a retest of say, you know, the hourly 9-day moving average, I would likely, let's see here. Yeah, so you have a gap right there. I mean, you are pushing up. It looks like you might tap 250. You might do that briefly. You're not too far away. So 250 is right there. That could be a early morning push. So let's go mark 250. That is we've seen BA at 250. Boy, that thing is an alligator. So yeah, I would say a relatively decent morning push, potentially, like I said, to 250, and then at that point you could see a rejection where we would likely see, and BA does dump. It doesn't mean it's over with, but when it pulls back, it does pull back, and it looks like it launched itself off of this support here, right? So pew, nice. I said this yesterday that we ended the day with a really nice bear flag, or bull flag. Whew, what am I on? And today, looking at the price targets, I would imagine if it did hit this, it could pull right back down to 247. I mean, so we'll see how it ends. It could consolidate underneath that 250. It could climb up, but I'm just urging anybody in these contracts to take some profit off the table, because you should be up nicely. Okay, plug. I have a lot of lines on this, so it must mean I knew something. Sheesh. We're gonna delete some of these. Sometimes you just forget about like playing it. God damn, I used to play a lot of plug. Oh my god, look at these charts way back. That's awesome. Oh man. I wish I could have told Garrett on December 1st to just buy all, just go all in. I don't usually do that, but sheesh. What were you doing December, Garrett? So, looks like we ended the day yesterday up against that 200-day EMA. That has been the this stock's sheepdog as far as wrangling in the price action. So right around here, we're getting that consolidation underneath it. So today, I mean, it depends on how that sector is moving. You do have the potential, if you climb up, and Plug has earnings, did have earnings? What is the results on earnings? If I can see that could help. inflation numbers come out June 10th. Aliens on June 2nd. Well, I will take a look at those. So looking at the daily time frame, it looks like the RSI is cruising up really well. You're in the middle of what looks to be a imminent MACD crossover, but you are still underneath that resistance. Let me go check. So look, right here. Probably not a lot of people seeing that. Let me delete some of these lines so this is less confusing. Those are price targets and stuff, but okay. So you're ending the day, or you ended yesterday up against that 200-day EMA and 50-day EMA. You got a lot to work through here. So that being said, we're gonna want to push through both that 200 and 50-day EMA. Resistance sitting right there. You need volume. Anytime you run up to a resistance with very little volume, it's just a snack for market makers. So if you look down here on this hourly time frame, let's see here, where are we at? We're finishing, we're at $30. Let me go look at where that's at the daily. Where's our data window? Okay, so the 200-day moving average is at 29.86. The 20-day moving average is at 29.75, and then the 50-day moving average is at 30.31. So if we go look in pre-market here, it looks like we're at 29.97. So 30.31, and that, if we mark that resistance, you'll see that it is well respected too. Hold on one second. Yeah, right around there. So check that out. That's where you're gonna want to break and hold, right? So hourly candle close, high volume. This is not high volume. That's high volume. This is what you want, right? You want something like this. You see that, then it could potentially see a run up and break that downtrend. So this is a pretty pivotal moment for plug. You could also go, let's see, 2 hour. I'll just do this on the 2 hour. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay. So I don't ever like when a stock does this. It exchanges its support for resistance while it continues to make an uptrend. So that only sets that sentiment even further. So if anything, you could see a tap of 30, you could wick above it. Remember, market makers will let things run a little bit farther. That's why volume is your number one indicator. You have to see volume. If there's no volume, they'll let it go, they'll let it push, and then whack! Crikey. That's an angry market maker. Sorry. Hopefully that helps. All right, what are we looking at? Let's see, Veil. Uh-oh. Did we get a little gap up? My guys? Oh, come on. We were in the money. We were in the money. Let's see. All right, so we obviously here risk the danger of a pullback, just like we've seen here. Multiple gaps up, guys. This was an $11 contract in the small account. If it's up and we see that pullback, I would say 2091, 2090, it should bounce there. It does look like it broke downtrend, but we've seen this multiple times where it just does not. So I want to see some continuation today. Not a lot of volume, but anyway, could see that MACD rollover. RSI looks decent. We're going to set an alert at, that's that 2110 level. We want to fill the gap starting at 2135. That's our target. If we can fill the gap, we can fill the gap to 2180, where we'll likely take full profit. Okay. Any questions? It's getting close to 7:10, so Any charts that we want to look at? BYND, okay. F, is that F as in F like rip or? Holy shit! All right. That's, sorry, excuse me. What the fuck? Did anybody swing? Did anybody swing BYND? Please. Heck, Diesel, dude. Take me on your yacht, my guy. This man's about to buy Civil Stacks. You took that 130 call? Awesome, dude. Amazing. Just kidding. Simple Stacks are not for sale. Dude, you just no, it's not that you take, dude. You take bangers. It just seems like you're in a lot. You know what I mean? You're in a lot of winners. That's yeah, man. But that's awesome. I'm really happy for you, dude. I would be out, my guy. Out. Oh my god. Oof. You're gonna be up so nasty. Okay. Let's look at Apple. Oh yeah, sorry. Honestly, sorry, BYND. I would likely take profit on this one. I mean, you don't get much of a gap up like that very often. It looks like we rode and held the 9-day moving average. Let me look at the 6-minute really quick. No. So I'd be watching for a pullback to 132.77. We have to remember that this has superseded the price targets that we've seen or have seen. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, these people have made a grip off of this stock. The price targets, though, ahead of it. I gotta clean this chart up, guys. All right, and then this is. I'm gonna go ahead and close YouTube, but appreciate you guys for hanging out. Pre-market prep, likely be on tomorrow. So.
Yo.
Well, hello there, Manny boy.
Do you know that Neo hit an AI yesterday?
I did not. 137.65 is the last target that I would like really put on BYND. If you swung those calls, I would, and you swung multiple. That is the I don't know why.
Did you ever see the lottos, the 125 lottos?
Did I see them?
Yeah, I had on Monday when Beyond started moving. I didn't post it on the chat. I just told you guys that I was in a couple 125s. Like lottos, I was just holding for the week, and then I didn't because Manny.
All right, guys. All right, 1 second.
They're pumping this though, dude. There's somebody pumping Beyond. 100%. Somebody's buying.
NVDA. Yeah, I think this one's pretty simple. I have a couple different targets here. I have 620 below and I don't recommend playing this short. Please God, don't do it. Don't play it short. Please God.
You'll get squeezed, dude.
Because as soon as those buyers step in, boy, you got every bank in the world. Yeah, that's not even against the grain. That's like 40-year-old 100-year-old barnwood against the grain. It's gonna hurt. I hope I didn't just that. 614.70. So we're just gonna. I'll just watch this one today. But I honestly see it, with the correlating ETFs moving in the direction that we would like them to. I see movement there. Did I just see Vail gap up again? Holrugit, where the money? Hey. All right. I've never even played that game. I don't know why I say Harugit. All right. See you, YouTube.